Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today we are going to be going over slope-intercept form, what that is, what that means. Let's see what that is. So Slope-intercept form. This is mainly used for graphing equations and linear equations. So in order to be in slope-intercept form, it has to be in this structure. So y equals mx plus b. This is the formula that you're going to be needing. You have to understand it. You have to know it if you want to graph an equation properly, and if it's set up so you can figure out what the slope and the intercept is of a graph. So what does it all mean? So for y equals mx plus b, y is the y coordinate of the graph. M stands for the slope, so how steep a line is. Do I have that? Yeah. So it's how steep it is. So when you see a graph going like that, what does this measure? How long is this graph? Like, what's the slope of it? The x coordinate is x, so that's what you could swap in. And then the plus sign is obviously just the addition symbol. And then B stands for the y-intercept. The intercept means where is the line touching the y axis of a graph. So when you have your graph like this, the line going up and down or vertical, that is the y-axis. Whatever is going horizontal is the x-axis. So let's do a quick little learning check after knowing all of that. What is the slope of this equation? Y equals 3x plus 5. Where would you find the slope and what is it? Take 3 seconds. 2, 1. It's 3. 3x. That's what the slope of this equation would be, all right? So remember, the 3 right here is what the slope of the equation is. It doesn't say, but 3 over 1 would be your slope, because remember, rise over run. If you need help with that, go ahead and watch the previous video on how to find the slope with the rise over run. So some examples of equations written in slope-intercept form. Y equals 2x plus 5, that is written in slope-intercept form. Y equals negative 4x plus 1, that is slope-intercept form. And y equals 52 minus x. See how the x does not come first? Doesn't matter. It is still in slope-intercept form because you can swap around the negative x, just how it is here. So y equals negative x plus 52. Remember, it's positive if there's no negative sign in front of it. So some examples of equations that are not in slope-intercept form. 3x plus 4y equals 7. That has a lot going on. The y is not by itself on one side, and so that is why this one is not slope-intercept form. Y plus 2 equals 4x minus 1. The y again is not isolated by itself. And then x equals 21y plus 9 is not in slope-intercept form because the x is by itself and not the y. You can turn all of these into slope-intercept forms if you can isolate the y. So remember how to solve basic equations, multi-step equations. Here, what would you do first? You could subtract minus 2 on both sides, and then you can solve as normal. Same with this one, you could subtract 21y on one side and then subtract the x by both sides, so it's kind of swapped around. That would be some ways that you can get them into slope-intercept form, but how they're written right now, they are not in slope-intercept form. So what do you do with this? What's the whole point of even having slope-intercept? It's used to graph equations. And slope is how steep the line is, and the y-intercept is where the line touches the y-axis. So we're going to see a few examples right now on how to calculate the slope, what to do with it, and what to do with the y-intercept. So example of using slope-intercept form to graph, y equals 3x plus 2. The intercept is 2. So right here, you would just put a dot on 0, 2, because that is where the y-intercept is. It's where the line is touching the y-axis. So 0, 2. Then you would just do rise over run with the slope. So 3 over 1, that would be your slope. So up 3 to the right 1, and you get 1, 5. And that would be how to graph your equation. Remember, if it is rising from left to right, it is a positive graph, and if it is going downward from left to right, it is a negative equation. So always keep that in mind as well. There is another video on how to solve for that and how to figure out how to do that with the distance formula and rise over run. So go ahead and, if you need a recap, go ahead and watch those videos as well. So I want you to take some time to practice. Go ahead and pause the video, and while the video is paused, please identify the slope and the y-intercept for the following problems. So look at the problems. Y equals 4x plus 2, y equals negative 6 plus 5x, y equals negative 9x, and x equals 2y minus 1. Go ahead and identify the slope and the y-intercept for the following problems. Take your time, pause the video, and unpause when you're ready. All right. So for number 1, the slope is 4 and the y-intercept is 2, or for graphing purposes, it is 0, 2. Remember the first number in these 0, and the commas for that, that's x, and then the second number is y. For number 2, the slope is 5 and the y-intercept is negative 6. So on the graph, that'd be 0, negative 6. For number 3, the slope is negative 9 and the y-intercept is not there. So it's 0, and that would be 0, 0. For number 4, that's a trick question. It is not in slope-intercept form. If you did solve for it, then go ahead and submit that to me so I can see if you did it correctly. Anyways, we're going to practice again with graphs. I want you to look at both of these graphs and identify the slope and y-intercept for the following graphs. So you're looking at what these graphs are, so exactly how it is, and I want you to put it into slope-intercept form and identify the slope and the y-intercept. So for these, each tick on the graph is by 1. It goes by 1. So go ahead and take your time, solve it. So like this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 through 5 here, 1 through 5 there, 1 through 5 there. That's for both graphs. So I should have labeled that. I apologize. If you need any help, keep playing the video, and then but try and do this on your own, okay? So pause the video now, and then when you're done, unpause. All right, so let's check the answers. For number 1, y equals 3x plus 1, because the slope is going up 3 times to the right once, and the intercept is 0, 1. For number 2, remember that a line is going downwards from left to right. It means it's negative, so it would be negative x. So it rises 1, 2, and it runs 1, 2. So it's 2 over 2, which reduces down to 1. If you need help reducing, there is a video on that as well. And since it is downwards from left to right, that is negative. And then the y-intercept is 4 because it's on 0, 4. So now for you to try things absolutely on your own without the answers. Without the answers, go ahead and try to graph the following equations. When you are completely finished, I want you to upload your notes from this video, your practice, and the graphs for these 3, and then that's how you're going to earn credit for participating in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Number 1, y equals negative 4x plus 3. Number 2, y equals 2x. And then 3, y equals 3 over 2x plus 1. So try graphing those, all right? Thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you later. Have a good one.